Let me talk about wings. Good afternoon. Lee Mallett from Mallett Buildings. Always start out talking about these home improvement registers. They're not licensed contractors. Folks, use them at your own risk. I go to board meetings once a month. All kind of problems. Stay away from them. They're not licensed contractors. Once again, if you ask us, we have our specification sheet. Make sure that if they say they're building the same thing I'm building, tell them to sign here, because this is what you're going to get in all 3 buildings I sell. There is a specification sheet. If they won't sign this, I suggest you come see me, because that means they're not telling you the truth. Last thing, or another thing is, if you buy a Mallett building, a #1 building, 900 square feet or more, you either get a free pellet grill or a nice camouflage that comes in several colors. Ice chest, it's same class as a Yeti. It's called a Gator. They're made in Louisiana. 2 free gifts. Come do business with us and we'll give you one of those. Now, today I want to talk about wings. At Mallett Buildings, because we have our own truss plant, and on the #1 building, the #2 buildings and #3 buildings, they basically going to stop at 20, actually 19 feet. Because the 2x6, the dimensional is only 20 feet, free span, okay? But when we get to the Mallett building, we can do a 30-foot truss, we can do a 40-foot truss, we can do a 60-foot wing truss. The only thing you have to understand, you need enough height to absorb the amount of the truss that it's going to take to get any clearance. But, you know, I've been told, people say, well, that's why they use steel. We can engineer a truss, and in a Mallett building, all of the wings are engineered trusses, okay? We actually make a mono truss, okay? Your #2s and your #3s, now we can add them to these other buildings, but they're not standard. But understand, I can do a 40-foot wing. I can do a 60-foot wing. So, you know, don't believe some things you hear, because I was told, well, y'all can't do it. I said, no, I can do a 40-foot wing, but I need some height. Depends on the height of your building. Ultimately, on the height of your building can determine, because the mono is going to have some meat. So I got, depending what your clearance is. If I know what your clearance is, I can tell you what the height you need in the building, and it's really a good looking building. And I'll tell you, the engineered trusses really make a pretty unit. And if you decide to close it in, you close it in just like you do in the building, because your trusses are going to be, I think, 5 foot apart because they're engineered. But you can strip it and you can close in that wing. Whereas if you start talking about the ones who do post frame, then they add that steel. They're 20 foot. That's why they're cheaper. It's not, you know, it's the same thing as a steel. Let's take steel versus wood. What's the difference in steel buildings versus a wood building or post frame building? #1, in a steel building, the columns are going to be 20 feet apart. In a post frame building, they're going to be 10 foot apart. Okay. In a steel building, they're going to have purlins to make their trusses, and they typically have those about 10 to 15 foot apart. Whereas in a post frame building, we're going to have an engineered truss every 5 feet. I'll have twice as many trusses supporting the roof versus the steel. I'll have twice as many posts supporting the outer perimeter of the building, because I got posts every 10 foot versus every 20 feet. Then let's start talking about steel's going to put their purlins to attach their tin. They're going to put those 3 to 5 feet. I'm going to put them every 2 feet on the purlins on top of the roof. And it's going to be a 2x6. So I'm going to have twice as many purlins. Go to the sidewall, and well, those are wait, I got that kind of mixed up here. But the sidewall, we're going to put stripping. I'm going to put a 2x6 every 2 feet. They're going to put a purlin every 3 to 5 feet. Once again, I'll have twice as many purlins on the sidewall as on the roof, which means I'm going to have twice as many screws. That's why these buildings are stronger. They're much stronger. Look at the materials. Go look inside of a steel building. Go look inside of a post frame building, and understand that when we build a building, everything is screwed, all wood screwed together. My competitors who compete with me, you don't know what they're doing. You know, I use right now. There was a point in time we couldn't get #1 lumber. We say #2 or better in our contract, but we're shipping it all #1. #1 lumber is all we use in our treated lumber. Now, when you get out there to that third building, it's going to be cheaper. It's white wood. It doesn't come with the warranties. But anyway, there's some things I thought it might help you understand a little bit about post frame versus steel. You know, share this, please. Give us a call at 337-515-2154, or call the office at 337-214 0428. Have a nice afternoon. Thank you for listening, and share this, please.